Alright everybody, welcome back to SketchCraft Gaming, the podcast where SketchCraft talks about gaming on the Gaming Podcast. I'm Rob Duenas, Gaming Artist Esquire. Joining in today is Wesley Rusher. Say hi.
Hi.
Hey, also joining in is Ashley West from GangFeather.com. Ashley, say hello.
Hello.
And making his second appearance on the Gaming Cast, Brandon, Mega Potato, Lead Heavy, Super Saiyan James. Say hello.
I'm fucking back.
Got dark in here for a second. Like, I'm adjusting the lights right now to work with this camera, so it's a little darker tonight, folks. It's okay, we're in the cave. So, we got a lot of gaming stuff to go over. Here's a quick rundown of the topics I'm looking at tonight. We're going to do an Arcadian Atlas Kickstarter update. They're hitting the final goal stretch. Let's see how that's doing. Got a little bit of Nintendo news because I love to bitch. Maybe we'll get to some Steam stuff, a little retro gaming, maybe. And definitely Wesley's covering some crazy-ass stuff on the Persona and classic Japanese RPG shit. Ashley's got some No Man's Sky, and Brandon's going to talk about FPS nonsense. So, where to start? So really quickly, let's just take a look at Arcadian Atlas, because I'm dying to know where they're at.
Not so hot.
No? Oh, let me click on it. Over here. And 61,000. Let's go look at the bring up the Cintiq right down there. Now let's just go full desktop. All right. So they're at 61,000. 49 hours to go. They need 90,000. You know, that's a shame. I knew they could do 60. I think I've said that from the beginning. Like 60 grand was like that sweet number, and I was like, man, I wish I could get it into 60. But they need like 3,000 backers and 48 hours to do it. I mean, it is possible. I mean, I've seen Kickstarters pull out bigger wins, but that's a stretch. I don't want to be a downer, folks. Don't cancel your pledges. Just get the word out.
Increase your pledges. I actually tripled my pledge.
You did?
Yeah.
What are you pledging now?
90. I went up to 40 to be part of the, like the testing and stuff, and then I dropped the other 50 for the physical art book.
Nice. Cloth map. I might go up to the digital art book. That I can do. The problem with all the physical rewards are that I don't have any place to put it. But 10 more bucks for all gone. I missed it. That ain't happening. So, yeah, $100 is I'm a little self-employed right now, folks. That's pushing it. I will do what I can to get the word out, though. How about that? So good luck. Let's see them do it. I think in the final hours, if they're looking like they're close, we'll do a live little stream and help to promote a little bit of that. So moving on. Go ahead.
Well, really quick, I saw a tweet from Becca Bear there, and it looks like they added Booker from BioShock Infinite as a character in the game.
Oh, awesome.
It says Booker and Liz coming to Arcadian Atlas, and there's a little gif of Booker walking out of a building.
Nice. Nice. I missed that one. I will have to dig it up. I just want the game. I don't really care what characters they put in there, you know? Like, I just want the game, so I gotta see what Rob can do. Maybe I can help earn $1 more. You know, every little bit counts. So, let's move on real quick. So, last time we had an all-inclusive cast, episode 14. This is episode 16. I gotta remember to mention the fucking episode numbers. The the last time we were talking on episode 14, we left off on Nintendo NX news, and I said, "Hey, I really wish Nintendo would just announce this shit already, so we could stop speculating." And a fucking 1 hour later, 1 whole hour later, Nintendo announced a release date for the Nintendo NX before he had a chance to let the freaking cast go live. So they announced March of 2017 for the cast, for the Nintendo NX, and they also announced that there would be no games at E3 other than Zelda NX, and for the Wii U, whatever will be the only game playable, whatever that means. And I did an emergency cast with my buddy Rich, Digital Burn, and we talked just about this topic. And I left off on the topic that, or the prediction I make, Wesley, I do not believe that this system will ship in March of 2017. I think it will get delayed again to June or September of 2017. That's my belief. Nintendo's never released. Nobody's really. The last time someone's released a console in March was the PS2. I just don't believe. I think that that's a way to tell their shareholders that they're gonna keep in the fiscal. I think that the March is the last month in the fiscal calendar, kind of thing. Like, I'm not a financial expert. I'm just how I remember, this sort of thing. Like when they go, oh, because remember, Wesley, sometimes they'll announce games in the holiday, and then they'll get pushed back from September to December to March, and they go, it's still in the holiday of 2016, or whatever fucking year they come up with.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point. I mean, I am a little optimistic that the fact that they skipped, Christmas as a launch point, or the fall, Black Friday, that whole shebang, that they can hit that date, but staying within the fiscal year, yeah, that could be a good way of keeping people happy and not having their stocks tank.
But I think that as they get closer to that March, they'll push it back. So, that being said, this topic comes from Emily Rogers. She's a Nintendo insider. She's pretty awesome. She's got a good track record. Been following her for a few years now. Made a whole post on her Tumblr and her Twitter about redundancy leads to inefficiency. And it's about the Wii U and 3D libraries felt redundant. Let me go right to the desktop. Oh. So, and you can see here, this is right from her blog, arcadegirl64.wordpress.com. You can see all these pictures of, there's NES Remix and on the 3DS, Lego City and on the 3DS, Mario U, Mario 2. That it just looks like a lot of the same games are on the same platform, and this sort of redundancy is kind of a problem in their internal departments. And, we had that whole story a year or two ago. They announced that they were merging their mobile departments and their console departments. On top of the fact that there's been this long-standing rumor about Nintendo going to ship the new system on chips, ROMs, versus CDs or whatever, DVDs, Blu-rays, that they're going to go back to that format. And that leads me to believe that my prediction for the NX, and I had a prediction for the Wii 2 at the time, I call it the Wii View, a year before it came out. So technically this will be a year, supposedly. But my belief is that the Nintendo NX, if it uses ROMs, like the little chips in your 3DS, I think you're going to get one game that plays on both systems from the get. I think that chip will work in a 3DS or the 4DS, whatever they call it, and it'll work in the NX. And I think that it'll have both games on that system. And if that's what they do, I fear that will be the thing that hinders third-party development. Like maybe not, I don't know. But I just believe that's the thing when they say it's going to do something no other system's done before. The same game will play on mobile and will play on the console, and they'll have two different looks. They'll have specs that merge down or merge up. If the system is based off an Android processor, from what I know from those chips, they can scale upward. So technically, if the lead target is the new 3DS handheld or whatever, in some sense, they can scale up from there as well to HD specs or whatever. So, but that's what I believe. I'm calling it down. If I'm totally wrong, I'll fucking be like, well, I bit that one. Or maybe I'll invite Bacon onto the show for the 8th time, and that won't happen. That might be something I do. But does anybody have any comments on the Nintendo NX or any of those ideas or anything at all?
I think the one thing you were saying about it not making March that would bother me is it's supposed to launch with the new Zelda, and if it doesn't launch the NX doesn't launch in March, would they push the Wii U version back with it?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, they will. Square took 5 years to make Final Fantasy 12. You know, when it comes to these properties, they know they got another Zelda probably in the pipeline with DLC. Maybe they know that their new Zelda game will have DLC every few months, you know, the way they did Mario Kart 8. They may not care when it launches, so long as that once it launched, they know they have a steady stream of content. But there's no way they release that game before the NX. They're going to have a dual NX Wii U simultaneous launch. Guaranteed.
I know you're going to give me shit for this, but the idea of it being, you know, a game played on your handheld and a game played on your console, I wouldn't mind a Pokemon game that I could play on my handheld and then come home and put it on my big giant TV. So I think that would be cool. Or even be able to play some. I wish they'd bring back all the old Nintendo games. Like I know in the library, the eShop or whatever, you have like a good chunk of the old games, but not all the original Nintendo games. So it'd be cool if they actually
not all, barely any. Like
right. Well,
there's like 4 Nintendo 64 games. It's ridiculous.
Well, they have a lot of like Game Boy Advance stuff, like all the Mega Man X's, the Mega Man blah blah and such. But yeah, they don't have like a huge, other than Mega Man and Mario, there's not like a vast selection of older games. It's just every Mario and every Mega Man. So it'd be nice to get some of the older games that I liked that I can only play by plugging in my actual old Nintendo. So that's all I got on that.
Ashley?
At least you have a Nintendo.
Ah.
My parents sold mine.
Ah.
Oh.
She's always got the sorriest gaming stories.
I was not around, and my dad sold it.
Oh. Poor Ashley.
Yeah, Nintendo 64, that is.
Somebody sold my ColecoVision, but...
Yeah. Oh, you're so old.
Well, it was actually my...
Holy shit, Coleco. I'm talking about the first Nintendo. But I felt old right there when Ashley said, yeah, my 64. I thought she was talking about the regular Nintendo, the first one.
No, I don't know where that went. For some reason, the system isn't there, but I wound up with the gun, the orange gun. So, I don't know.
Your gun was orange?
So.
All right.
I had the gray one. We got that the Christmas. It had its own box, its own styrofoam box. When we got it, it was separate. So, anyhow, so that's about it. I think more will be revealed at E3 or the Nintendo Direct or whatever. I just hope that when they do it with puppets again. Like they reveal the NX with more puppets. You know, like Nintendo needs to continue with the puppet thing. I find it really refreshing in this day and age. So that being said, let's move on to someone else really quickly. Wesley, you've been playing. Wow, you've been playing a lot of games, dude.
I haven't been playing too much lately, actually.
Heroes of the Storm. But you have some Tokyo Mirage news you wanted to bring up?
Yeah, just, more on the good old censorship. And, hey, more Nintendo news, actually. Is Tokyo Mirage Sessions Pound FU is that Fire Emblem Persona mashup game that Atlas and Nintendo published, and it's coming stateside, and it's just been, I guess, comes out in June, so people are getting review copies early now because it's a long game and they want people to have time to play through it. And there's videos popping up of things that have been altered, similar to how Nintendo altered Fire Emblem and Xenoblade Chronicles X, and I'm sure both Fire Emblems. It just goes on and on. But I think the first thing I saw about it was the very first boss in the game is some crazy woman with some booby armor, that covers her nipples and whatnot. And they've added like a purple mist effect that goes over her naughty bits. It's just more like why do they keep doing this? I get it with some of their other titles. I get it with the Fire Emblem games. This game is for like a super niche audience. I don't think Nintendo should be trying to really convert the Fire Emblem people. I mean, hell, they took the name Fire Emblem right out of the title for America.
Yeah, so it was this crossover between Fire Emblem and Persona, right?
Yeah.
Or Shin Megami Tensei. And so they changed the name to Tokyo Mirage hashtag FE, which that's the first time I've seen a hashtag in a gaming title. Let's hope that doesn't continue. So it doesn't even say Fire Emblem. But yeah, it's another Nintendo game that's basically been, censored. I don't know, man. Like, this goes back for me, if you want to bring up some retro gaming bullshit, this goes back to Resident Evil, the first one on the PlayStation, PS1. And they had all these different scenes that were supposedly edited out because they were too violent for Americans. And eventually they decided to release an uncensored version of Resident Evil that was going to have the demo for Resident Evil 2 on there. And that one shipped and it wasn't uncensored. It was still the censored version of Resident Evil. We've never gotten the uncensored version to this day. It's never happened.
Which is funny because in Japan, I know a game my wife is working on, they have to censor it for Japan because of like decapitations. They can't show that in Japan.
And here we're perfectly fine with that. We put decapitations in Wolverine comics. But we can't show Wolverine smoking. Yeah, but, man.
At least to that point, in Japan, it's law. Like, you can't show that on TV. It's not just, because we think people will be offended. It's because there's laws in place. It's like you can't show a swastika in Germany, and that's why Wolfenstein's been censored. Those censorships make sense to me when you're trying to at least stay within legality of a country's, rules. This is just because Nintendo is trying to position themselves still as for the kids.
With the game no kid even knows about. You know what I mean? It's Tokyo Mirage Sessions. What little 8-year-old's like, I gotta get Tokyo Mirage? Like, no kid.
So there's a collector's edition for this game that's exclusive to GameStop and Amazon. And I've been trying to get it on Amazon, but I keep missing the damn pre-order. So I said, screw it. And I just went into my local GameStop and pre-ordered it. And because I pre-ordered this game, the clerk at the counter the game advisor, was like, well, you seem to already know about the weird games, so I'm not going to ask you which games you're looking forward to, because I knew of this game, he assumed I just knew of all games. And so he's like, is there anything else you want to pre-order? He didn't even try like pitching me on, Call of Duties and the generic Maddens and all that stuff. So yeah, this game is not, it's for those people. It's for people who like
the
Atlas
weirdos.
games. Yeah, for people who like Atlas games or JRPGs. It's for the people who grew up with Nintendo, who are in their 30s now and older. On
a side note, hasn't Sega bought? What is with the NIS Atlas Sega thing? Like, so Sega bought NIS?
No, Sega. So NIS used to distribute Atlas's games,
and those are the guys that made like the Disgaea games and stuff.
Yeah,
so
in Europe.
Right.
And I know Atlas used to help NIS on the American side with their distribution. They actually may still help them, or they did for a while. Like, it was like a back end deal. Like, we'll help you distribute here because we have all the channels. You make your games, you handle everything. We'll just handle the logistics part for you. And on the flip side, NIS kind of had that more locked down in Europe, so they would help distribute Atlas's games in Europe. But I think now that since Sega has taken over, Sega's like, we have it under control in Europe. NIS, thanks for the help, but we don't need you anymore. It was kind of one of those things.
So Nintendo's publishing this game though locally, or is Atlas?
I think Nintendo is still publishing because I don't think Atlas would have censored it like this for these kind of things. I know Atlas is doing the localization of this game because most of the content pertains to their Shin Megami.
Right.
But I believe Nintendo is still the publisher.
I don't know. I know Twitter gets all in a fucking rage over this, and that whole, that girl, to Ashley, I don't know what her name was. There was a chick working at Nintendo who was fired over, supposedly, but then wasn't, and I don't even want to get into it. You head into that, the quagmire of Gamergate nonsense.
Yeah, they were threatening her, and people said like that's why she got fired.
But there's nothing new to censoring Japanese games in the United States. What I'm trying to tell people, like, there's no weird conspiracy. It's just Nintendo making poor decisions again. This goes as far back. Like I told you, for me, like, it really caught steam. Look, this goes as far back as for Mortal Kombat. When it went to the Super Nintendo, it didn't have blood. They had like green goo. Like, you literally beat the snot out of people. Yeah, and in order to get the version of Mortal Kombat that had actual blood, you had to get the Genesis version. And then that was the big marketing.
I had the Genesis version. I never saw the green blood one.
Yeah, and
It
so
was like gray. I think it was like sweat.
I remember being snob, but my TV really sucked. Yeah, wasn't
Sure.
calibrated.
They didn't have like an option where you could do like green blood or red blood.
No.
too?
On
Okay.
Mortal Kombat 2, then yeah, they corrected that. But the first Mortal Kombat Super Nintendo was totally censored. So there's
Okay.
absolutely. Meanwhile, when you play Street Fighter, you could punch them and like. I can't remember if they still did the blood thing, but I think they did like the little bursts, like the stars. And eventually, Nintendo of America like corrected that by Mortal Kombat 2. But that first
Yeah,
game was totally censored.
Because Nintendo's pockets went, oh, we didn't sell any copies of this game.
Right.
And Nintendo back then was making, mad royalties off each cartridge sold.
Yeah.
So actually, really quick with Tokyo Mirage Session. So like that one scene that they showed on the Destructoid, I dug deeper and they showed more edits, and that's the edits that don't bother me. Like, okay, you change the cutscene, whoop-de-doo, that doesn't really affect gameplay, and I don't care too much. But there's two changes that are crazy that don't make any sense in that game when you add them up. There's a scene with a girl where she does a photo shoot. In the Japanese version, she does it in a bikini. In the American version, she does it like in a full, like pop star idol outfit. Like they completely clothed her. But this game is still the vocals are all in Japanese and it's subtitled in English. They got the Japanese actress to re-record one like word or one sentence where she says she used to say she was 17, the character, now she says she's 18. So they made her 18, but then took away the thing she does that an 18-year-old could at least do in our society. But I don't really care that much. They called it like one of those gravure scenes. Do you remember that happy chicken guy, that Charlie May, game fan?
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're talking about. Okay, that's a rare. We had a guy. So if people know what the fuck we're talking about, when Wesley and I worked at Game Fan 2010, that's what they call it now. When we worked there was a guy that had a game called Happy Chicken or something like.
Well, it was his company, and he made Japanese like films where it was just girls in like underwear, and maybe they would get wet or like be in bubbles. It was really weird. There's no nudity, but
No.
yeah.
Yeah, he did a Kickstarter for that, didn't he?
Yeah, he made the Catherine film too. He took the game Catherine by Atlas and made like a gravure film of it.
Okay,
I remember he kept wanting me to do an article about it.
So, what was the point of bringing that guy up? Like, I'm confused.
Well, that's what the scene is in the game. They called it like the same kind of scene, like gravure, the same kind of things he shot in real life. There was a scene in Tokyo Mirage Sessions where that happens.
All right, so I want to get out of this. It's a quagmire, all right? So, I agree they should stop censoring this shit, just fucking whatever. Because the people who are buying this are going to be overage anyhow. So just make it an MA game, and Nintendo should just fucking deal with it. They have Resident Evil on that fucking system. I don't understand what's so hard about this. And The Devil's Third. But, as we all know in the United States, it's okay to murder people. But, if you get a little bulge like Brandon does in his One Punch Man watching, then, a whole fucking world loses its mind. So whatever.
They had games like, No More Heroes, where you literally like jerked yourself off to like recharge your lightsaber.
Yeah, that's true. Grasshopper manufacturer. You gotta give that guy some credit. All right, so I want to move on to another fun little topic, and then Ashley can give her thoughts on No Man's Sky. So really quickly, I brought Brandon on to talk about something I don't care about. So who better? Basically, this week, 2 trailers dropped. One for Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, and the other for Battlefield. They're calling it 1 now, because I guess it takes place in World War I.
That's weird.
I think it's because it's Xbox One exclusive, and that's just what they're trying to like link the name up. The way there used to be Star Fox 64, remember all that bullshit, and Zelda 64 until it was called Legend of Zelda. But these 2 trailers came out, and the first one, Infinite War, features space combat. It got 100,000, 200,000, I think it's up to 400,000 dislikes on YouTube. And they said it's like, the most disliked gaming trailer, I suppose right behind Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Apparently on YouTube. And so then Activision comes out. The CEO of Activision goes, well, people should remember that, people disliked Black Ops 2, or I don't know, one of those fucking games. And it turned out to be their most profitable, Call of Duty game ever. So I guess that says that people are going to love it no matter what. I don't know. and then Battlefield 1 came out, and that trailer dropped, and it's all in the past now. And so basically, Brad, I wanted to bring your thoughts. You play these fucking games, right? I don't play AAA first-person shooters, but I know you play Rainbow Six. I know you play Battlefield.
Right, Siege, all that, yeah.
And so you've seen both. Now the complaint is that only hyper fans who disliked it will dislike it because they're part of a groupthink and they're still going to buy the game. So I want to know, one, what did you feel about the Call of Duty Infinite trailer, and will you now buy the game? And if, I just want to see what you think about that.
Well, my first reaction, I hated it. I hated everything I saw. I'm a big fan of, on these first-person shooters, I like realistic, grounded type stuff. I'm not wanting to play Destiny. I'm not wanting to play Halo. I don't like those. I don't like shooting cute little aliens. I don't like jumping in starships and flying around. I like being on the ground. I have a team, or either online with a random group or with some buddies, that we go through buildings, we go through scenery, and we fight terrorists or other bad guys or whatever such. When I saw a fucking rocket ship take off in this trailer for the game, I wanted to punch my screen. I hated it because once you leave Earth in a game, there's no going back. It's not like, oh, hey, in this game we're just going to focus on Earth. No, you're going off into space combat. And from the looks of it, you'll have space combat in a ship, so you'll be flying a ship around like Star Wars, and then out of the ship. I didn't see any aliens, so I mean that was good. I did hear there's going to be zero gravity maps, which might be kind of interesting, just to like experience that once or twice. But I think the fun of it would wear off real fast. I'm not going to buy it. I don't want to buy it. I'm not going to buy it. But here's the catch that I think will get a lot of people to buy it. They're including the Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare remastered. Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare was probably one of the best ones they ever made. Like, probably my favorite. And that's the part that I'm like, fuck. That's where they get you. Because it makes you excited because it looks great. I saw the remastered part of the footage just like side by side, and it's way better. I mean, obviously, because graphics and such. It's been 9 years since that game came out. But you're going to have, right now, you're going to have to buy not only the Infinity Warfare game, but you have to buy either the Legacy or the Legacy Pro, which will be an extra $20, $30. So if I can hold out, and hopefully I'm guessing a couple months down the line, they'll release just the Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare remastered as like a separate buy, then I would buy that. But it doesn't make me want to buy the game. It's not enough to make me buy the shitty other part. So... No,
and you saw the Battlefield 1 trailer as well, right?
Yeah. So I saw now Battlefield. I've bought Battlefield before. Not the last one, Hardline, but the one before that. I think it was Battlefield 4, and I returned it after 2 days, I believe. And I know me and you talked about it, and you gave me shit. You're like, you buy a first-person shooter? I'm like, yeah, the environments, they break apart and shit, and the servers were dog shit. Like the Battlefield servers, I don't know who runs their servers, but I never have a good experience with it. Lagged all the time. I can never get anything to load right or play right. From the looks of this game, the graphics look amazing. The cinematic scenes, it has a very cinematic feel, crazy, beautiful cutscenes. It looks like they still have the destruction for the environment, so that's cool. You shoot around a tree, the tree falls down, buildings, bricks. I like that. I've always been a fan of that. There used to be a game on Xbox, the original Xbox, the first one, called Black, and that first started the whole environment breaking apart, shooting through wall stuff, a little ahead of its time. So I like seeing that.
I think Red Faction did that. But, yeah.
Oh, did it? I didn't play that.
Yep. Geomod.
So I like that they have that. The environments are destruction. I'm not a big fan of World War I games just because the weapons are a little basic, compared to like past that. But I mean, it's not enough to make
compared to space.
Yeah, compared to I don't want to go to space where it's like laser guns. It was cool though seeing the trailer where you got the pistols, the SMGs, you got the melee weapons. I saw one dude took a dude's head off or hit a dude with his shovel, their little digging shovel.
Not in Japan though.
Yeah,
well,
not in Japan, but it looked like he cracked the dude's head open. And same thing with this game. It looks like you could drive tanks. You could be a pilot.
All right. So that all being said,
Mhm.
I got a few questions for you. One,
Yep.
are you going to buy any one of these games?
No.
Okay. So why will you not buy a Battlefield game?
It's I've never been a big fan of Battlefield, and I've
But
always
you
been a Call
bought
of
the
Duty
last
person.
one.
I bought it out of just wanting to try it, and it was such a bad experience that I was like, no, I'm done. The only way I think I would buy this Battlefield game is if I played a demo or I played a buddy's game or I watched it maybe. I just didn't have a good experience last time with. I didn't like the controls. The servers were shit for me. It's not enough for me watching this trailer to go, yes, I want this
And
game.
so you're definitely not going to buy Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, even
No.
though it's going to ship with this modern combat. remake or
I
whatever.
want to try. I want to hold out in hopes that
You're going to buy it.
No. I didn't.
I'm calling bullshit on this one.
I'm
I
not
think
gonna
when
buy
you
it.
see the Modern Warfare remake, because I'm telling you, Brandon, like right now, I fucking could care less about MMOs. And if they said the only way to get a Final Fantasy 12 HD remake is to buy Heaven's Sword 13, whatever the fuck that Final Fantasy
Right.
shit is, then I would probably have to buy one. You know, and I would piss him. Like, I bought Dragon Quest Heroes. I'm not against it, you know, but I've played that game a million times. You know, where you run around in those little dungeon maps and you beat the shit out of 100 enemies. But I only bought it because they said if I don't, they won't release Dragon Quest 11. They're
holding you hostage.
They are. Like, they're
Holding you hostage with the. It's like, hey, get into this shitty relationship with us, but we'll throw in a hot chick or a hot guy. We'll give you some perks. You'll like it.
They threw in a hot guy. I definitely might do that, but like, I don't know. Wesley, you have any thoughts on this Infinite Warfare or Battlefield 1?
I've never been much of a fan of those games. I liked Call of Duty 4 and some of those games. I like when they had. I like co-op stuff, so I don't really care about like deathmatch too much. Me myself, I prefer games like Halo. I like the lasers. I like Destiny. I like spaceships. So Infinite Warfare, hearing that there's spaceships, that sounds kind of cool. I'll keep an eye out on it, but I would wait probably until it's in the bargain bin before I even gave it a shot. Because most of those games I want to play. Most of those games I just play the single player, or if they have an interesting co-op mechanic, maybe I'll get into that with a buddy. I thought Battlefield 1, besides having the stupidest name,
Right.
like when they call it like Battlefield: The Great War or something. I don't know.
Would the prequel to Battlefield 1 be Battlefield None?
Right.
Like,
Battlefield 0.
That's coming.
0.
It sounds promising. If it gets a lot of hype and I have a bunch of friends that are playing it, maybe. You know, I work at a PC gaming company, so games like this, I'll tend to hop on.
Here's what I want to know. I want to know is, will it ship with more levels and features than Battlefront?
Probably.
That's a good question. Ashley, you play Destiny, right?
Yeah.
Did you see any of these trailers, or you have any thoughts on it?
No, I don't play Call of Duty.
But if it took place in space,
No, I
Right.
just don't. I don't know. I just don't. I don't do Call of Duty. It's not that I don't like it or anything. It's never been in my wheelhouse really, or I never really tried it. I've even heard people say that a lot of girls play Call of Duty, and I'm like, well, not me, you know. So
not me. I'm kind of girly, you know. Like, you know, here's my thing, right? Like, who are they reaching out with Infinite Warfare? Because
Kids.
But do
The next generation of gamers. Because here's the thing.
Activision made Destiny, right? Right?
They published it. Yeah.
Published
So
it.
do you
Well, they
think...
fucked it up too. So yeah, I guess they did.
do you think this has anything to do with that? Like, do you think maybe because they've been working on it probably for what, 2 years now?
Right.
So do you think? I mean, they were like, "Oh, this is going to be the next big thing," and we'll also have a science fiction. I don't know.
They're just piggybacking off the I mean, every game does this, but it's like Titanfall came out, okay, and you have the jumping mechanism where you launch yourself and you have that boosted jump, and then Call of Duty started doing it, and you had the boosted jump. Destiny came out, you go in, you got space, and like, oh shit, everyone loves it. So now Call of Duty's like, hey, let's copy that shit and go into space.
And a lot of people like Destiny.
I
I mean, they like the game, but they don't like what Activision did to it. You know.
Yeah.
So.
If I recommended a first person shooter, I would recommend Rainbow Siege. I like
Shocking.
Rainbow Six. I always have. I like their Vegas games, and the Rainbow Six Siege came with both the old two, 1 and 2 of Vegas, and it's simple. It's you have like let's say you have a house you set up, people come in the house to extract the hostage, or people block it. It's simple. It's good. There's no crazy storyline. It's just simple 5-on-5. So if Infinite Warfare had a simple like no space shit, just maybe like on the ground 5-on-5, I'd like it more. But whatever. I'm not gonna buy it. I'm just bitching. So.
Oh, okay, hold on one second. Call me stupid, but what do you mean Activision messed up Destiny? What do you mean by that?
What I mean is they had a giant story. They had a bunch of extra content specifically designed for launch, and they trimmed all of it out to piecemeal it across years.
Okay.
You gotta look this one up, Ashley. It's pretty well known. And so
yeah, see, I missed that somehow.
Yeah.
There was a story on Kotaku written.
I'm sure I've heard it. I just don't. I've heard so much Destiny stuff that my mind is just like.
I mean, imagine like 6 months before the release of Superman v Batman, they take, instead of cutting the movie down to 2.5 hours, they take the 6-hour cut and then they go, we're going to release a 40-minute 6-part series on Netflix. You know what I mean? And charge you for each episode. Because we know the fan fervor so much. That's instead of releasing it in the theaters, like that's sort of what they did, and it really. And then like the first one you get for the normal charge doesn't even have Superman and Batman in it. You're like, where the fuck is Superman and Batman? Oh, that's in episode 2. Buy that extra. So.
Right. So they're just making people wait and spend a lot of money.
It hasn't worked out for them though.
I guess.
The game has worked and built an audience because of the strength of what Bungie can do. Yeah. That being said, a lot's gotten in the way of that. And I haven't seen a company get in the way of itself that badly since probably Square. Like when Square went off the deep end with Final Fantasy 13, and this can go on and on forever. But it wasn't a good move, and I don't think they'll be doing that again. And I'm pretty certain by the time they hit Destiny 2, whatever the fuck that is, they'll probably fix that. Like everything's fixable. But compared to what they showed off, and then, Angry Joe's got the best rant on this ever. If you want to put something in and laugh your ass off, just watch him go off on Destiny for about an hour plus minute or two. So, anyways, whatever. I don't care. I don't care about first-person shooters. Battlefront came, and I could play it for free on my GameFly, and I sent it back because I just didn't want the pain of dealing with it. I heard Respawn Entertainment, the guys who made Titanfall, are working on a Star Wars game. So 2 years from now, maybe I'll care about that, but I probably won't either. I'm tired of first-person shooters. I haven't. The only thing that could get me to play one is if I don't know, man. Maybe VR and it was around if I was creeping around a mansion, and it was I don't know. There'd have to be something very different and deliberate. That being said, I do like those first-person exploration games, so it's all different. So that being said, Ashley, speaking of galactic first-person exploration, you got pretty excited about No Man's Sky, the game coming to PC and PS4, right?
I did. Yeah, I did. I first heard about. I know it was revealed in 2013 at what was it, E3? Yeah, I can't remember. Anyways, it was 2013 when it was first, I guess, announced that they were making this game. And I heard about it, I read about it in a Game Informer magazine issue that was, it was all about science fiction. So, of course, No Man's Sky was kind of, a big deal in that one. And that was, 2015. That was, New Year's Day 2015. Okay, so it's been a year and a half. Okay, so anyways, this whole time I've been what is this game? Is it are we mining things? Obviously you're kind of putting elements together and collecting elements to sell and trade, but I didn't realize that it was I didn't realize it was a first person game, and I didn't realize how, I guess, I thought it was more peaceful. But it's very you can either be bad kind of, or an outlaw, or you can be kind of good, kind of oh my gosh, what's that game, Infamous, where you can be a thug, or infamous, or you can be a Samaritan. And so you can shoot things if there's animals chasing you and hitting you, and you can kill it, or you can just shoot the ground and scare it away. and if you kill it, then all these like sentinels come after you, and you can start shooting the sentinels too. And the sentinels are basically like the overwatchers, like they make sure everything. They're kind of like, I guess, the policemen, and you'll start attracting them. You know, the worse you are. You could start, and it's funny because I was watching this video. Like I have a link that on the what's it called? It's like an 18-minute. I mean, it's been up for a year. It's all there's nothing really no crazy new news about this. So that was the only thing I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna kind of watch some gameplay. But like, it was really cool just seeing the Sentinels come and like at the very end when he was about to get killed, I mean, all these sentinels were just coming all over because just kept killing them, and they're like, okay, you're gonna kill us, so we're just gonna gang up on you. And it was just crazy. Like anyways, it was cool.
That was the video where the developer played it with, I think, the guy from IGN or Giant Bomb.
He did, yeah, right? It is. It's more IGN. Okay.
And
anyway, that doesn't matter if it's IGN. It matters if it's like, oh, that's cool. Like I like what I'm seeing, because I like the art, like the artistic design of the game. I think that's a big draw. I really like how things are kind of look a little bit magical, even though there's no magic. It's very like there's things floating in the wind, like particles, and it's really cool. And it's like really bright. So I don't know. I like it. I like the aesthetics.
To paraphrase the demo, so the demo starts with the guy walking on the ground. He shows how you can name things. You can shoot and blast your way into caverns. You can mine there. You can go into space stations and make friends with indigenous cultures. You can get into your ship and manually fly up into space and onto other space stations as well. And you can see different lanes of traffic up in space, and you can look out the window, see where you were at on the planet. So the scale of it's pretty impressive. I also think that it's going to blow a hole in the whole, like, if everyone remembers, originally Battlefront 3 was supposed to have this mechanic where you could fly from a Star Destroyer to the ground and back up in the air seamlessly. And they've never released that function into a game for some reason, because it would be awesome. Why not? And these guys have done it successfully. Like, it really does work.
Right. And it was funny because one guy's like, it's like open world, and he's like, no, well, yeah, it's like open universe. And it really is, because there's like, they said there's like a quadrillion like different planets or something. I don't know what it was. It was weird. I was like, what? How can you have a quadrillion anything on? But I guess it's kind of like an algorithmic thing.
Yeah, it's all procedurally generated. The fear amongst gamers like myself is that it could be another Spore.
Another what?
Spore, you ever hear of this game?
Oh, Spore, yes.
So 10 years ago?
Earlier. That's why when you mentioned Spore, I was like, I wasn't expecting this. So.
Well, when 10 years ago, the internet lost its shit when they debuted Spore at E3, and it was going to be this procedurally generated game that's going to give you all these different options and creatures, and you can get a spaceship and go to different galaxies, and Will Wright was making that, and it did not really do any of that stuff in the way we had all hoped.
Made some cool looking monsters.
Yeah.
There's a list of phallic monsters. It's
shocking, Wesley. Thank you.
That's what I know. It's what I know.
It's what you do.
Anyway, am I excited for it? Yes. Am I gonna buy it the day it comes out? No. I mean, I barely ever do that. It's usually a year out that I usually get games.
Question: Has it been confirmed for PSVR?
I don't think so. I think that's like everyone's really wanting it to be there, but I don't think it has been confirmed.
If that shipped on PSVR and was only able to work with PlayStation Neo, I might be tempted to. I might be suckered into that one. Because for me, like, because the game can move at your own pace. The problem I have with first-person shooters, one of the problems I have is they move at, like, this frantic pace. You gotta, like, you get scripted events. You gotta it's like Disneyland on crack, right? You gotta run through all these trenches and shit. But with this game, you can take your time, which for VR would be phenomenal. Because you don't want things, you want to be able to have some peace in VR. You want to be able to take your time and explore. So I think, if this ships with PlayStation VR, that could be a total winner for me. I could get into that then, especially your own spaceship and the size of a planet in VR. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it seemed like it was like 300-hour plus game. It just sounds like it's like so big you'll never finish it, kind of like Monopoly.
Or trying to walk to the edge of your Minecraft map.
I don't think you can finish it. There's no way. You would have to live like infinite lifetimes and only play this game. I've
See,
been
and I
pretty
don't
hyped
know
about it
how
too.
that's gonna work, like, because sometimes people are like for completionists and everything. So I don't know.
Well, yeah, for that, yeah, good luck. Um, yeah, this is it's very interesting to realize that if you don't play online with someone, like you guys, no one will ever experience the same game because the chances of you being in the same spot is astronomical. I mean, if you
Yeah, but I mean, in the same game, in that Minecraft is your own unique map, right? Every time you load up the game. So I don't know. I don't know. I love Minecraft. Minecraft in VR is my favorite thing right now. You know, next to Windlands, which is really just a tech demo. They're working on finishing the game. So uh, being able to get, for me, VR is where this game could really shine. I have no desire to really to play it in a traditional sense because I gotta be honest, man. Those moving a controller, I'd have to play it on PC because the dual analog where you move the camera, where you're like whoa with the camera, I get motion sickness off that. And like I don't get motion sickness in VR. As crazy as that sounds.
Really?
Yeah, I don't.
Well, the last time I got motion sick was playing, what was it, Donkey Kong 64, and I was like swimming in the water. And that was the last time I got, I think, motion sickness. But the dual analogs never bother me.
Yeah, it's
That's
just it
interesting.
gets everyone separately, you know. That
Yeah.
motion sickness. So. That's cool. Do we have any idea when this is supposed to come out? No Man's
June
Sky?
21st.
yeah,
June 21st.
next month.
Awesome. We're almost halfway through 2016, huh?
You seem really excited for it to wait a whole year to buy it, Ashley. That's a long time.
I'm very patient.
I plan on picking it up when it comes out. I've been really debating on getting like the collector's edition for 20 extra bucks on PS4, but I
With
feel
the
like
statue?
No, that's like the IM 8-bit PC version. It's like 150 bucks, and yeah, you get a statue of the ship, but it comes with a fucking digital code. Like if I'm gonna buy a collector's edition, give me the damn game on a disc.
And the
Wait,
the
so
digital
what's
code.
the difference between the collector's edition? Because I saw that it's like, or the limited edition. There's like a, I don't
It's
know.
like yeah, that's the one. It's like a steel book and like a little art. You know, it's just something. I just like the extra knickknacks, but
So there's just an art. There's an art book with it, and
yeah,
probably a better looking case.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right here, right? I got the
steel case.
It's like $79.99.
Yeah.
But
Steelbook case, 48-page art book, exclusive comic by I don't fucking know, and a starter kit code.
yeah,
And
but to be honest, this is a game I feel like I should play on PC and not PS4 with its scope. It just seems like that's the way to go, especially if this game is something that's gonna last forever.
Till you
the
die.
I want it in VR, man.
The PS, yeah,
So it's like kind of like World of Warcraft, except not. I know it's not. But you know what I mean? It like never ends. There's always something.
Warcraft
No, don't get
ends.
me wrong. Don't get
It
me wrong.
ends.
It's not like World of Warcraft. I'm saying it just never ends. Like there's always something.
Warcraft has an ending?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
No, I don't. No, I'm asking because I don't play Warcraft or any of that.
No,
So
I
Yeah,
mean,
it's called
like-
you wake up, right? Like from your
it
sleep.
is. I was gonna say
Yeah, but then BlizzCon comes right back around and they get you suckered into another. I just don't like the MMO mechanics. I would play Warcraft, the MMO, if I had a camera function like Pokemon Snap. And I could just run around taking photos and exploring shit. That I enjoy. But I don't. I know, guys. I am the weird. My gaming tastes are becoming stranger and stranger in the opposite way that Wesley's have become disturbing and corrupted.
I sent you a great article to look at.
I see
after the cast.
the spore animals. Wesley,
is that
thank
your
you.
way of saying you want another Pokemon game, Rob? You want Pokemon
So,
Snap?
speaking of Pokemon, Brandon, no, we'll bring you back on for that later. All right. I want to wrap this up really quickly. It's already 48 minutes. Really quickly, folks, I do have some retro gaming news. I want to bring this up because this is pretty cool. If you like retro games, Neo Geo. If you dig the old school Neo Geo, you should check this out. This comes to us from... I got this from Retro Collect, but straight from Star Force Pi. Guys try to kickstart this Pi gaming system. They got this new thing called the Star Force Neo. So it's an actual Neo Geo mini arcade with a screen, actual arcade parts, and you can actually use the Neo Geo carts if you have each $1,000 cart. You can actually plug it in and actually play it. It's got HDMI out built in. It's got a nice scanline generator to get that classic arcade feel. It's pretty fucking awesome piece of hardware, and you can plug in the controller if you want to use the old gamepad and shit. It comes with a little controller inputs, 2 controller inputs. Comes with the joystick. It's pretty badass. When I was a kid, they used to have these little LCD arcade cabinet games, like Pac-Man. They were 1 game per, and they were LCD, like little mini arcade cabinet. You got Donkey Kong, you got a Pac-Man. You had a few of them. I had the Pac-Man one. And this is pretty cool. Like, how much are they charging for this fucking thing? I don't think they've announced the price yet. Depending on what this is, if this was like $2.99 or something, I could totally get behind that. I do like classic Neo Geo games. And to be able to play them on an arcade stick built in with the screen is pretty impressive. As long as I could still play the ROMs. Because I don't have... These Neo Geo cards run for $1,000 to this day, you know? Like, that's pretty fucking crazy. If I could go back and buy a bunch of old fucking... Well, see, the things were like $250 when they came out, too. The Neo Geo games were actual arcade parts. That's why they're so expensive. So this is pretty cool, folks. If you're into this sort of thing, check this stuff out. The Star Force Neo. Cool name. And they need to name more consoles like that. Star Force Neo. Like Nintendo Star Force. The PlayStation Wonder system, you know, like I'm hoping, you know, when they do release these new consoles, they go back to maybe making them look more like gaming consoles too. By the way, I just want to say that after the PlayStation 1 and Nintendo 64, they all went off and became, other than the GameCube, they all kind of went off and became nondescript black boxes. So I kind of hope they make things look like.
But I think that's what sells. It's like, you know, mainstream.
No. We live in a different world. Kids walk around in Cookie Monster furry hoodies all the fucking time. No.
You can customize them.
The PlayStation 4, PlayStation 1 themed whatever anniversary thing, those were like $3,000 on eBay. They sold out in 2 seconds. So nostalgia's a motherfucker. Like, it's like me, eat it up. So, anyways, all right, that's it, everybody. Anyone have anything else they want to bring up? We all good?
Persona 5. Woo.
Oh yeah, Persona 5 comes out September when?
15th, something like that. So the funny thing about it, and I'm not going to go too much into it, is I think it's scheduled to come out 2 weeks before the new Final Fantasy in Japan. Which
wow, that's like having X-Men come out 2 weeks after Civil War, which is happening.
Yeah, so like no one will care about X-Men. Just be like tired.
Right.
It's like 3 weeks. It's a good 3 weeks.
It comes out the 27th.
Yeah,
2 weeks,
and
right?
today's the 6th.
20 days.
21.
Okay, it's pretty close.
I really want to go see Ratchet and Clank, even though I heard it's fucking horrible. But I'm such a big fan of this.
You
I
just
was
threw that out there.
Hold on, I was reading the reviews on Fandango, and every review from someone who wasn't a fan of the game was like, "I should get extra dad points for taking my kid to see this." This was like the one saying my kid.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like,
everybody was a fan was like, "I loved it."
I think everyone that's not a fan is gonna be that way. They're like, you know, it's very entertaining for young children. But if I'm like, well, I guess I have the mind of a young child because I loved it. Or no, I didn't see it. But I mean, like I've heard like a lot of like I've heard people talk about like, okay, like for instance, the Minions movie. Like, okay, it wasn't great, but it wasn't bad either. And people were like, it's just terrible. I was looking at my phone. I'm like, if I was in the theater, I would not have been looking at my phone. Okay, like calm down. You know, like I don't know. Sometimes I think people are really hard on certain things, and maybe it's because they don't like cartoons. I don't know.
I feel like a lot of like Despicable Me parents liked. I think if the writing's done well, all the Pixar films Disney, you know, parents like. So, but yeah, I still want to see it. And I heard it kind of leads into the game, which makes me, as someone who has to do things in order, and I have that problem. Like I have to kind of go see this in the theater before I play the game. So
yeah. I mean, I'll probably, again, I kind of wait for everything, so I'll probably just wait till it comes to video, and then buy it, and watch it, enjoy it myself.
Right, we'll get Ashley's review in a year and a half.
Yep, that's how I do things.
I saw it a year later. I like it.
I want to point out that Rob got a fancy new haircut. Look at that. That is nice. I
like to point out Brandon doesn't have hair.
I don't. That's why
Still,
I'm jealous.
Right?
You got a fancy haircut.
Right. I found a nice barber shop. That's all I got to say.
I'm just saying, you got the cool new hair. You got the cool new lighting. SketchCraft is just kicking ass.
I'm working on my hoop earrings next.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh
see?
wow!
See?
Oh wow! All right, everybody.
Much younger, man.
Much younger. I don't want to be younger. I like getting old.
I like the
You
mood
do?
lighting you got
Well,
going
that's the
on
first
too.
time I've heard that.
I do. I like getting old. That means that I can just act like I have authority over people, and I get away with more shit.
You already do that.
Huh?
Yeah.
Right. So I'll play right into my age. I'll be that 6-year-old guy who's like fucking Nintendo, you know, like the only one left. 10 years from now, I'll be like, Ashley, did you see Ratchet and Clank yet? You're like, I'm getting around to it.
Right.
One time, I have a story. One time, I used to work at the electronics department at I won't say where. I just used to be an electronics sales associate. And this old lady came in, and she was like, she had to be in her 70s, and she's like, man, I got my DS here, and I gotta get the new so and so. And she was like all like about the DS and everything, and it was really cool to see that. It was really refreshing. So.
Are you
She was
worried
just
she's
talking.
listening?
Huh? Yeah, I was just listening, and it was really cool because she was just like, she was buying games and everything. And
It was
of course,
Best
I don't.
Buy.
It was like 4 years ago, so I don't really remember it that well.
Brandon knows the store.
It was you're at Best Buy.
Well,
No.
But you can tell by the age of the customer, Brandon.
No, it wasn't Best Buy.
I was just wondering why you didn't want to say. It was just funny.
I'll tell you guys. I just don't want to tell it on the air.
All right. Okay. And when it comes to old people playing games, I'm reminded of the 2 elderly women who loved Dragon Quest and died waiting for a new Dragon Quest game before they came out.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's a true story. Dragon Quest. It giveth and it taketh away.
That's great note in the podcast.
It's a way to end the fucking podcast. It's how I do it.
Yes.
All right, everybody. I'm going to forego props from now on. All the links, if you want to get a hold of Wesley, Brandon, and Ashley, they're below. They're all below. I put all the links. You want to find Ashley, you want to find Brandon, just look below. And then while you're at it, leave a comment. Let us know what you think about the podcast. We got some good feedback last time. Ashley, you got some fans, actually. And no one likes Wesley. I'm working on that. I'm
I thought
trying.
people hated me.
You know what it is, Wesley? You actually know your stuff. I try to tell people Wesley really knows about games, and I just think I don't know, man. Like
You pompous ass.
and where Brandon, no one agrees with him because he doesn't know shit, and they just
I'm not here to make friends.
And I talk over everyone, so people remember me. And
And you're
I'm not here to make
phase.
friends. Not here. What would we do without you? Wesley, really quickly, when is E3?
First week of June, something like that. Second week.
Are you
I don't know,
going?
I'm actually not going. I forgot
Damn.
to send some shit in. I may have a way in because I just I know people. So
Ooh, big shot.
Well, he does though. Like
I know, that's what I'm saying. I know.
he does. So if you go, Wesley, you gotta call us from the floor. That'd be awesome.
yeah, I'm definitely just gonna go for a day. I can't do the
Take
3 days.
Purell. Take it.
Purell.
Purell.
Okay.
You'd be like,
I thought
oh,
take your L. I'm like, your what? Your L? The letter L?
Take some hand sanitizer.
Oh, I do.
Gotcha. All right, everybody, we're gonna head out of here. We'll see y'all next week on the next SketchCraft Gaming Podcast. See you later. Bye.
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 Bum, 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 bum. Maybe this week we'll actually get around to playing this Legacy of Legacy. I know it's gonna suck. But I don't want to play it. I gotta play it.